So when we bring demand and supply together, we get our equilibrium. So let's have a look at this. So this is what you'd need to know about to basically draw any demand and supply diagrams. So the equilibrium is just where demand and supply meet, they're equal. And it's how we determine the price and the quantity in a free market equilibrium, basically. So this is just taken from the OCR textbook, and we can simply see supply sloping upwards or to the sky, and demand slopes downwards. So that's how you can remember which way they slope. Very important in the heat of the exam to make sure you get those labelled the right way around. But we can see that this point in the middle is where they meet, and this is where the equilibrium price and quantity would be. Now, if the price is up here, if it's above the equilibrium quantity, you don't get very much demand. You get Q1, but you get a lot of supply because a lot of profit to be made there. So you get Q2. So we've got this situation of excess supply there. And what that would look like is a shop that has a lot of stock on the shelves and things aren't really selling very fast. So eventually they'd push the price or decrease the price, and it would push the price down, downwards pressure on the price, and eventually you'd get to the equilibrium. If the price is set too low, we don't get very much supply because maybe business is thinking there's not much profit to be made in this, but you do get a lot of demand because it's very affordable. But that's the situation. If we can see a difference there between the quantity demand and the quantity supplied, that's excess demand. And what that would look like in a shop would be a shortage, so kind of empty shelves, not enough supply. So eventually you'd have an upwards pressure on price. You know, the shopkeeper would think, you know, these products are selling really fast. Maybe I should put the price up a little bit, make a little bit more money from it. So make sure, this is a really good tip, make sure that you know the difference between what shifts demand and what shifts supply. So on demand side, we've got a change in consumer income, we've got a change in the price of other products, so the change in the price of substitutes, we've got a change in the price of complements, we've got taste and fashion, which can be altered by advertising or marketing activities, we've got an increase or a decrease in the population size, and we've got seasons that could affect the demand for products. So, I mean, seasons really affect taste and fashion, don't they? I mean, you know, if it's hot weather outside, you fancy an ice cream, but that's really taste and fashion, I suppose. Supply, though, it's different factors. It's the costs of production, it's the industry, so is it a monopoly with just one producer, or is there a lot of competition in the market, like a monopolistic competition? Monopoly and monopolistic competition are not terms that you need to know the definition of for the AS course, they're A2 terms. Government policy, so indirect taxes or subsidies, those would affect the supply because they affect the cost of production. Advances in technology should be able to increase the amount you can produce with your resources, so that would affect supply. And sometimes seasons, yeah, they do affect supply because if you have very good weather, you're probably going to have very good crop yields. If you have very poor weather, you have the opposite. Weather, flooding, earthquakes, those natural disasters can affect the supply as well. But, you know, it's really only weather or seasons that can affect the demand and supply, both of them. Make sure you realise that it's different factors on the whole that affect demand and supply. Work out which factor it is from the case study and then alter that curve. Okay, so when you get a diagram, and there is a presentation called Demand and Supply Comment On questions that'll go through these types of things, how to answer diagram questions. But basically we've got on the graph 3, I've just copied this from Google, but you've got an increase in demand, and therefore we've got this increase in price, and we've got this increase in the equilibrium quantity. When we have a decrease in demand, we've got a decrease in the price and a decrease in the equilibrium quantity. Let's have a look at supply now, so a different style of diagram. So a decrease in supply, we've got an increase in the price and a decrease in the equilibrium quantity. An increase in supply, we've got a decrease in the price and an increase in the equilibrium quantity. Okay, so I've taken one diagram from each slide, a movement along the curve. So when we have supply shifting outwards, caused by either a decrease in the cost of production or an advance in technology, or maybe more competition, more suppliers entering the market, maybe there are lower barriers to entry. Again, an A2 concept, so don't worry about too much about that. Or maybe the government have introduced a subsidy, so it decreases the cost of production, or maybe they've removed an indirect tax. Whatever the reason that this supply curve has moved outwards, it has caused a movement along the demand curve. Okay, so they are linked together through that way. And here we have an increase in demand, maybe some nice marketing activities, some celebrity advertising, or maybe an increase in consumers' income, or maybe an increase in the price of a substitute, or decrease in the price of a complement, whatever it is, that has shifted the demand curve. So it's a demand factor that shifted it, but you can see it's caused a movement along your supply curve. You can see this price actually has caused this movement along the supply curve. Okay, so that's how the equilibrium price and quantity are determined. It's where demand and supply meet, and the position changes if demand shifts inwards or outwards, or supply shifts inwards and outwards. And if you want to see the effect of both of them shifting at the same time, have a look at the comment on presentation.